Exsanguination, exsanguination blues. Now gather round, folks, and listen to me. Pay attention and you'll agree I got a story that's bound to make you weep. I always did hate like the dickens when I had to get up with the chickens. I'm a guy that really likes his sleep. Up till this year I managed to pass, never went to an 8 o'clock class. Why go to class if you like your sleeping better? But last September the worm she turned, a new kind of routine had to be learned, 'cause I became a bona fide bloodletter. Now I'm at the hospital way before 8, I have to get there and exsanguinate. I'll tell you folks, this life can get you down. Knowing the value of the acid base rarely ever tells you how to treat a case, but the chart's gotta be right when the wheels make ground. So you dash on the ward and check the yellow sheet, and written right down there plain and neat is every test they can think of for you to do. There's an FBS and a BSP, a BUNCANP, NAKCL, and CO2. You have a lot of calculations to make to figure out how much blood it'll take, and your answer comes out something like 100 cc. As if you didn't have no cause to act quick, some nurse is telling you to get on the stick. She's waiting to take your patient to EEG. But the thing guaranteed to make you sore is that you have to look on every floor before you find a syringe and a needle near the right size. Then you spend 10 minutes gouging for a vein. The patient's lying there racked with pain. For miles around you can hear his pitiful cries. But you finally get the blood and put it under oil and head to the lab like it's gonna spoil, and by the clock you see you're done out of time. You go running down the hall and around the curve. The girl sees you and says, "You got your nerve. Don't you see, boy, you done way past the deadline." Now you beg and plead and try to get her to take it, but she's got willpower and you can't shake it. She feels for sure that she's gonna get the last laugh. But a little smile comes over your face, 'cause you got a hole card and it's an ace. You tell her this is something special for the chief of staff. Exsanguinate, 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 and if you see you're gonna be late, telephone the laboratory, give the girls a hard luck story, tell them all must wait while you exsanguinate. Now, I had a patient by the name of Joe. There's never been another man I know that hated to get stuck half as bad as he did. At the sight of a needle, large or small, you'd hear him all up and down the hall. He'd get shook up and almost flip his lid. Now, we had old Joe up on 3 West that finally got old soul to rest, but while he was here, we knew him like a book. When he died, he didn't need to confess. What we hadn't determined anybody could guess. We just sent along his chart for St. Pete to have a look. His chief complaint was kidney colic, but he had some problems that were metabolic, and every metabolite over there just went 8. We drew so much blood that he got anemic, his skin got pale and his heart ischemic, and with all those needles, Joe was in bad shape. So we started replacing all the blood that was drawn till he no longer had any blood of his own, and by that time he was so weak he didn't even care. Then somebody said, well, why transfuse him? It'd be much simpler if you didn't use him, have the blood bank send it to the chemistry lab from there. For a while this plan worked out just fine. It was easy on Joe and it saved me time. Then the blood bank said we'd used all the blood they had. So once again bloodletting was resumed, and old Joe knew that he was doomed. The day he wrote his last request was kinda sad. Now this request struck some as funny. He wished to be buried with a dummy, a 15-gauge needle and a large syringe. But I knew what Joe was planning to do, 'cause each day his hostility grew, and in this way he'd have eternal revenge. So he passed on to his salvation, direct result of exsanguination, but the wheels never would admit that he was in shock. 'Cause the metabolites had shown their talents, and when he died in balance. As cause of death, they signed him out as a crock. His epitaph says, here lies old Joe. He should have lived a long time ago, when folks didn't understand chemistry quite so well. Now, if you ever want to get yourself a fright, just go by old Joe's grave some night. You'll hear him laugh and that poor old dummy yell. Exsanguinate, 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 and if you see you're gonna be late, telephone the laboratory, give the girls a hard luck story, tell them all must wait while you exsanguinate.
You better draw that blood and get it down to the lab.